A lot of people don't know this about me that have only known me in the Stone Table context, but in what feels like, I guess, another lifetime ago, I was a music pastor. Had a huge passion for music, grew up playing the piano, and had just an incredible season of ministry in music, writing music, playing music, leading a big team, working with people I loved. Gosh, you get even a little sentimental thinking about it right now. Um, but I remember those days, right? Because I could be standing on the platform, and my calling was to lead a congregation in worship. It was to get people focused on God, to get them thinking upward, about the glory of Jesus and who he is in our lives. And I remember, just the tension that I guess could almost come even in the midst of like one song, right? Like you're standing up there, maybe you're introducing a new song, or you're leading a new song that you and the team have written, and you're behind the piano, and I remember having these feelings of, gosh, we're getting people to worship God. We're getting people to look at Jesus. And those lyrics, they really were God inspired, and people are looking at God with awe, right? And then even in the context of the same song, I could turn inward and think, man, I wonder if they're going to like this. People are going to notice this great piano lick, right? Or I wonder if they're going to think, man, Erik was a great songwriter, or man, he is such an awesome keyboard player. So like even from moment to moment, you can go from this elation of purpose, of glorifying God, to this obsession with self and making me the center of the story. And we talk a lot around here about work and the great story. I mean, that's one of our pillars here, that our work finds its purpose and fulfillment when we place it in the larger story of God. We would say, creation, fall, redemption, restoration. I mean, if you look at Scripture, a lot of people approach Scripture like it's a how-to manual, and really, the 66 books of Scripture, the Old Testament and New Testament, they tell this massive story arc that theologians call creation, fall, redemption, restoration, right? And our lives find their purpose when we are supporting characters in God's story. But because of sin, because of Genesis chapter 3, because of the fall of man, right? Like our instincts, our fallen instincts, are to put ourselves at the center, right? And then even maybe we love the Lord, but he becomes like in orbit around us, right? Like, and that happens, I think, with all aspects of our lives, but it can happen with our work. It can happen with our entrepreneurial endeavors. It can happen with our business. Like I'm the center of my work story, right? So instead of seeing my work within the meta narrative of Scripture, that work was created with a purpose. It was damaged by the fall, but it was redeemed by Jesus and is heading to this restored, outcome as Jesus is putting all things back together. Instead of seeing my work through that lens, I see it as a way to make a name for myself, a way to forge and form my identity, a way to make me the center of my work story. And I think that just happens, just like when I was playing the piano, that just happens. It can happen instinctively, right? But that our work was meant to find its fullness and purpose within the grander narrative, when we are glorifying God through our work, when we are loving our neighbor through our work, and when we are making disciples of all nations through our work and through our lives. That is when our work is serving a bigger story, and that's when it finds its true purpose and meaning. We believe that with all of our heart. And I remember my son was big into drama and musical, still is, but when he was in high school, and was a part of some incredible productions over the years. And I remember their director, their teacher, she would always talk to them about serving the story. How do you serve this story? What is this story trying to convey to the audience? And how do you serve that story? Rather than how do you get people to look at you? How do you get people to notice you? How do your skills, your talents, your abilities serve the story? And I think as believers, even marketplace believers, that's what we're called to do. We're called to serve a story that is not our own. And those are the moments that our work and our businesses and our entrepreneurial endeavors can find their ultimate purpose and meaning when we are serving a story greater than our own. And so that would be my encouragement to everybody out there today. I know that's a big thought, it's a big idea, but it really comes from that posture of not saying, look at me, I'm the center. It comes from saying, no, Jesus is the center of the story. This is his story arc. And my life, even in the marketplace, even through my business, even through my entrepreneurial endeavors, is meant to serve his story. That's when cool things start to happen.